Good morning, everyone. I'm Mary with Mary Greeley News. Thank you for joining me. I want to thank everyone for their support on Patreon and donations to PayPal since I was demonetized with YouTube. Been racking my brain trying to figure out in what way I violated any of YouTube policies. So I changed my lead. Yeah, it's an image from NASA. I'm trying everything to figure out what I did to violate their policies. Here's a live image of Yellowstone National Park. Just after midnight Universal Time, there was a 6.3. It was upgraded to a 6.4 earthquake along the Aleutian Islands, and it really shook up the caldera. As you know, large earthquakes around the world can trigger volcanoes to erupt. Luckily, Yellowstone didn't erupt, but it did create earthquakes afterwards here at Yellowstone. Agca, Alaska, they're saying it is, but it's along the Aleutian Islands. NOAA says it was a 6.4. Afterwards, we had a 3.4, a 4.2, a 4.0, and a 5.0. Two people reported feeling this earthquake. Maybe they were geologists or volcanologists up there along and near where the earthquake occurred. I reported it last night, and it was two people that reported it. Today, they say there are three. Here's that 6.3 or 6.4, and there's the location of who reported it. Afterwards, there was a 1.2 near Lima, Montana. Now that's close to the Snake River Plateau, which has been showing a lot of activity. That was 2:33 Universal Time. Then there was a 2.4 that was at 6:32 Universal Time. 0.7. Now that one's up here, Manhattan, Montana. A 2.7. That was at 7:55. And then it says Virginia City, Montana was a 1.0. This is the monitor from Yellowstone Lake. This is the largest of the most recent earthquakes that it's showing. So that would be about 4.6 miles below the upper magma chamber. This is near an area where they have found past eruptions. We got Sheep Eater Cliff, we got Swan Lake, Indian Creek lava flows. Yeah, they got some new dead trees in this area. Obsidian Cliff. They had dike intrusions and volcanic eruptions in this area that lasted about 150,000 years. And I've talked a lot about this area. They didn't even know there was dike intrusions and volcanic eruptions in this area until they were surveying for a road. This is near a top of a hill or a mound that very well could have been a past volcanic eruption. See how I pull it and it rises up. We can see a dry creek bed down here. And it's not far from this, what looks like a crater. Yeah, we got a lot of mineral deposits, probably sulfur and limestone. Yeah, most of it's limestone, but look at all that around this crater. Calcium carbonate. You might find this interesting at Mammoth Hot Springs. There's a large deposit of the limestone, calcium carbonate. Mammoth Hot Springs lies outside of the caldera boundary. Their energy has been attributed to the same magnetic system, the lava, that fuels other Yellowstone geothermal areas. The hot water that feeds Mammoth comes from Norris, Geyser, Basin after traveling underground. Viva, a fault that runs through limestone and roughly parallel to the Norris to Mammoth Road. The limestone from the rock formation along the fault is a source of the calcium carbonate. Shallow circulation along this corridor allows Norris's superheated water to slightly cool before surfacing at Mammoth. And I've talked about the fault system that runs all the way up through Norris along the road. You remember when the road melted? It superheated and melted the asphalt. So that fault system runs up. Here's that 2.7 earthquake. And we'll come out. And we'll go to the Norris Geyser Basin. Here we have the Norris Geyser Basin. This is that 2.7 earthquake. You can see here at Yellowstone Lake how it brought up a lot of heat and gases. We'll look at the signature of that earthquake. We got another small one afterwards at 8:27. It basically brought up a lot of hot gases. That earthquake is not being reported. This here is the 6.4 earthquake that occurred along the Aleutian Islands. You can see the top, Norris Junction, Madison River, and then down here we have Yellowstone Lake. You can really see how at Madison River it really shook up the caldera. This here is the signature at Yellowstone Lake of that earthquake that happened on the Aleutian Islands. Oop. Yeah, we got another small earthquake there. And we'll go back over here. Then about 5:25 at Yellowstone Lake, we had a series of 3 very small earthquakes that basically just brought up gases. Oh. Now this gas is from the magnetic system under Yellowstone Lake. That one looks a little bit more significant. Yeah, it's caused by the heat from the magma that's under the ground. Now at 1532, there was the 0.7 in Manhattan, Montana. This is the activity prior to that was going on there at Yellowstone Lake. This here is 1514, and then we got 1515. There's a small one right here at 1544. Lots of stuff was going on. You can see that here. Yeah, the heat was really rising up. And then this is that earthquake along the Aleutian Islands. The other ones that I talked about. And then this is what it was showing when I pulled the files. If I can, that was about 9:30 this morning. The static camera for Yellowstone Lake still has not been working since the 20th. Right now at Yellowstone National Park, it's 26 degrees and it's supposed to be a high of 36. Yeah, you can see the boiling here along Firehole River. Alright, here we have the monitor, a borehole for Norris Junction. This is a very deep well under the ground. The Yellowstone Lake was also a borehole, so it doesn't pick up any outside activity. Here is that one earthquake, the 2.7, if you want to believe that. Look at the signature that it brought up a lot of hot water, gases. Yeah, look at that. We got 2 lines of melt. And we'll pull it over a little bit here. This here is the 6.4, 6.3, whichever you want to call it, that occurred along the Aleutian Islands. Yeah, the heat came up. Alright, then more recently, we got this one here. 8:06. Not being reported. And I probably should pull this over a little bit for you. There's its signature. Definitely an earthquake. We got a small one afterwards at 8:09. And then we got this one here at 10:02, not being reported. Yeah, they were doing better for a while reporting these earthquakes, but it is the weekend. Maybe when they come back Monday or Tuesday, they might report these earthquakes. Again, this is a borehole for Madison River. Automatic by the computer for the 2.7. At Horse Butte, it came in as a 2.84. They didn't fudge too much. Madison River. Now that says it was a 2.86 there at Madison River. I would say by looking at the spectrogram, yeah, that's a little bit more accurate. Look how almost black that is down there. Another monitor has it as high as 2.93. Another one, another one. That's Norris Museum. 3.26. Norris Junction, 3.35. Norris Junction again, 3.05. Well, maybe they did fudge on it a bit. There's no one at the park because the park is closed other than employees, people that are staying there, maybe dog sitting or whatever. This earthquake occurred about 1 o'clock this morning, so I don't know if it woke them up or not. If it did, I wonder if they kind of freaked out from the shaking. I am pretty sure the dog probably did. This earthquake here would have occurred about 4:01 Central Daylight Time or 3:01 there at the park. And then this one here, 3:09 or 4:09 Central Daylight Time. This earthquake here is the 2.4. It actually looks like two earthquakes. Yeah, two earthquakes. That one there was along the, or close to the Snake River Plateau. There's its location. I don't have nothing written on that one for some reason. This is the 3.0 that occurred on the 10th of this month. And I'm going to bring this out here. We got West Yellowstone. Yeah, we got Grayling Lake, Heben Lake, Hedgen Lake, whatever you want to call it. Here we have the Snake River Plateau down here. And where's my earthquakes? I got so many labels on here. Here's the 2.4. This is the Snake River Plateau. Yeah, two earthquakes, but they only reported one. Again, this is the borehole for the Norris Junction area. And then we got that. I reported that already. And I believe I reported that. Oh, maybe not. 1817. Yeah, that one was not reported. We'll look at the signature. Yeah, not reported. Yeah, harmonic tremors. And we'll go down to what it was recently showing when I pulled the files 9:30 this morning. Yeah. Can you see that? Harmonic tremors, volcanic tremors. They've been showing up for a long time at Norris Junction, and Norris Junction definitely has uplift. All right, Madison River. We got 3, 4, 1, yeah, 4 marked in red. We'll go to the most recent one in red, which is at 9:56. Remember, when they're marked in red, that means the computer picked up the signature of the earthquake, and it indicates that the scientists need to come in and review this earthquake. Alright, so 9:56, almost 10 o'clock, universal time. Not being reported. Definitely harmonic tremors were coming in when I pulled the files. Yeah. Constant. 750 marked in red. Yeah, look at the heat that came up. Again, that's the 2.7 with that fault line that goes all the way up to Mammoth Hot Springs. Okay. Yeah, look at the heat. Yeah, the road's closed, the park's closed, so do we have melted roads again? Now, when the road melted a couple years ago, they actually raised the road, put gravel underneath to dissipate, to dissipate the heat, so they wouldn't have as much of a problem with the road melting. Yeah, there was melted road there in the parking lot at Mammoth Hot Springs too. I'm looking at these little blips here. Okay, that's 10:04. Not being reported. Let's look at the signature. You little microquake. But see, the Norris Junction and Madison River area, that was one of the first areas when Yellowstone had its major eruption, 650,000 years ago. And it did a counterclockwise eruption. But there's been other eruptions since then, at least 40 smaller eruptions since then. Most recent about 2,000 years ago at Craters of the Moon. And Jacob Lowenstein admitted that there was another eruption just 10,000 years ago. Jacob Lowenstein was in charge of YVO before Michael Pollan took over. Yeah, we got some more activity there. Yeah. And okay, and this would be the earthquake that occurred along the Aleutian Islands. Look at that. Look at the line of melt. Holy cow. Holy cow means, yeah. Let's see here. Look at that. Like I said, these large earthquakes do affect the volcanoes around the world, and this is what it did at Yellowstone. Look at the line of melt all the way up there. Oops. All right, 1817. This would have been yesterday, Universal Time. Not being reported. Let's take a look at its signature. Yeah, definite earthquake. Definite. No P wave on it, so it probably occurred there at the Madison River area. Yeah, not being reported. So that's that. Oh, where is it? Somewhere in there. Right there. Nope. There. Right there. That's that one. And then we got this one here at 6:32, also in red. I believe that's the one that's a double earthquake. That's a 2.4. And we'll pull it over and look at the signature. Yeah, you can see how two bursts of energy, the heat that came up. And this is what it's currently showing. Looks like Yellowstone Lake has got an increase in activity. Look at that, the thickening of the lines. Data missing here from Madison River. Like I said, I pulled the files at about 9:30. So anyways, that's all I have for you right now. Thank you for your support. I'm doing everything I can to figure out how to be monetized again. So I changed my lead. My crickets, they complained about that years and years ago. But it's crickets that I recorded from my own yard. I've actually gone out to the pet shop and bought crickets and put them in the yard. I love the sound of them. Some people don't, but crickets are the night watchmen. If something comes around, the crickets all go silent. Yeah, so you know that there is some kind of disturbance going on when crickets aren't chirping. But if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, put it down below. Please subscribe. Please thumbs up my videos. Please stay safe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.